Hi again, it's Dr. Dave, and I want to talk about Freud's psychoanalytic theory. And in this chapter, they talk a bit about the fact that Freud believed that there are three parts of the personality. The first, in fact, the only one that's there when we are first born, according to Freud, is called the id. And the id is very primitive. It is all about immediate gratification at any cost. It contains some of our most primitive drives, like sleep and hunger and thirst, and the id is only concerned with immediate gratification at any cost, and it has no regard for anyone else. So if all I had was the id and I was thirsty and I saw that you had a beverage, the id just wants to take it because it wants to quench the thirst. However, at some point, around a year and a half to 2, maybe 3 years of age, the second part of the personality becomes established. That's called the ego. The job of the ego is to find safe, socially acceptable ways of meeting the needs of the id. So while the id may say, I'm thirsty and you have a beverage and I want it, the ego may say, well, you can't just go around stealing other people's beverages. Maybe we could ask them if we could have some. Or we could find a nearby drinking fountain or a nearby vending machine where we could pick up a beverage. The ego is also big on delayed gratification. The ego may say, we have to wait a little bit until we can get to a restaurant where we can get a beverage. The id, however, doesn't care about delayed gratification. It wants satisfaction right now. Finally, the third part of the personality is established between about the ages of 3 to 6, according to Freud. It's called the superego. And the superego is our sense of morality. It's our sense of what is right and what is wrong. And we get this from our parents, our teachers, and our religious leaders. As you might imagine, this sets up a bit of an internal battle between the id and the superego. So let's say that you wake up this morning to the sound of your alarm clock going off. The id says, oh, the bed feels nice and warm. I don't want to get out of bed. Sleep feels good. The bed feels good. The superego says, come on, time to get up. You got to face the day. Let's get dressed. Let's get in the shower. Let's get to work or to school. And somewhere in between, the ego is trying to satisfy both parts of the personality. The ego looks for a compromise if possible. Hitting the snooze alarm, exactly, would be a compromise there. But if it can't find a compromise and it tries to please one personality part or the other, there may be some guilt or anxiety afterwards. So if we hop out of bed, well, the superego wins, but the id is feeling upset and we're tired all day long. If we sleep in and we turn off the alarm, well, the id wins, we're happy, but we may feel some guilt that we blew off school or work. So when possible, the ego, which is right in between the other two parts, tries to find a compromise to avoid guilt or anxiety. And the other thing that happens to avoid guilt or anxiety is that we sometimes use defense mechanisms unconsciously. And if you look elsewhere here on my wiki site, you can see on the left-hand side defense mechanisms. If you click there, you can learn more about some of the different defense mechanisms that Freud claims that we use. I hope that helped.